I'd like you to think back to a time when you thought you'd lost work because it had been overwritten or deleted. As you have previously learned, version control and version control systems help developers keep track of their code and up to date with any changes. In this video, you'll get a feel for how developers use version control to keep track of changes and resolve coding conflicts. When working with a team of developers, it's essential for the code base to have a source of truth that has all historical changes. Version control systems play an integral part in aiding this process by providing a full history of changes of every single file added to its repository. It makes collaboration across a team easier and also aids in working toward a common goal. Whether it is adding new features and following the flow of how they were implemented, or discovering where a potential issue may have been introduced, being able to accurately pinpoint the who, the when, and the what of those changes is paramount. The revision history will record the essential data points so any developer or team member can walk through the entire project from start to its current state. Every change that has occurred on the project should be easily accessible, either by a simple command or integration into the developer's IDE. It's important for organizations to define standards for how developers communicate changes they make. Developers need to know prior to looking at the code what the lead developer's aims are. The more information, the better, and this creates a stronger team environment that is more transparent and open. Now I will guide you through an example of a typical development team working on an e-commerce application. Suppose you're working in a team with 3 other developers to release a new feature. You've been tasked with creating a new feature to enable experiments on the website. This will allow the marketing department to test user behavior. A daily report is generated that ranks the effectiveness of each experiment. The reports will give insights into how each experiment is doing. They will then provide the results of which experiment is the most successful and overall winner. After all the code changes, the developer will push their changes to the repository and create something called a pull request. Developers will then peer review the pull request to approve, request changes, or decline. When working on a single project, there's usually some level of crossover between the developers. When this does occur, the history of revisions can help aid the developers in seeing the full life cycle of changes that have occurred. It is also essential for merging conflicts where multiple developers have made changes that may need to be resolved prior to the code being approved. The history will show who made the change, for what reason, the code itself and its changes, and the date and time of when they occurred. Typically, on a new project, you will encounter changes in one task that may cause potential issues or conflicts with another. The history of revisions will give the team the ability to manage and merge these changes and deliver the business objectives in a timely manner. Well done! You've now learned about the history of revisions. Remember, it's vital to have a system in place to keep a record of all changes to the code base. This is critical when working with a team of other developers. You should now be able to describe how developers use version control to fix any conflicts that may occur during production.